Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Today is October 10th, Tuesday, 2023 if you want to know. And we are on our way to Shadowbringers. We're starting to get the Stormblood patches. And to get the story going, we have a fully equipped Dark Knight, but before we go to the patches, we will do his level 70 job quest, and then, without any further ado, we will continue with the Stormblood patches. So to all of you who are just getting in, welcome to the story. Oh, okay. This is a nice skill. God damn it, Mist. We are going to have to track him down and make him return the remainder of the ether he stole from you, aren't we? He said that when this was finished, naught would remain of him. Bloody vague and ominous, to say the least. We'll just have to press him for answers when we find him. You last saw him at Ralgr's Reach in Girabania. Yes, we'll start there. I'm going to. I won't take a no for an answer. Sid's gotten better, but he's a long way from fully recovered. Besides, you'll need someone else to help you do the talking. Sid's no good at it. Gather information in Ralgr's Reach. Okay, let's go gather information. I'm on time this time because my son is going to swim, and I took him to swimming, and I had time to spare, so I'm here, right on time. But I see that you are on time too. Are you restless to get on with the patches? Yes, that's why I have written to Shadowbringers. It's a clickbait, you know. See, got you. Looking for a young boy with long blue hairs, you say? Reckon I would remember someone like that if they were to come this way, and I don't. Spoke with the fella before me during the changing of the guard, as we do, and he made no mention to anyone matching that description either. See, I'm an old goat. I know how to bring people with clickbait titles. What's that? You're looking for a boy, are you? Okay, get ready to drive. I was watching some birds late the other night when I hear someone skulking about behind me. Forgive me, I hear him saying before he runs off and disappears into the dark. Then I realize it's quiet, too quiet, aye? Sleeping birds make noise and mine ain't, 'cause they're dead. Every last one of them. No wounds or any other obvious marks, but there they lay, like the life was sucked right out of them. I don't know how or why he did it, but there's no denying that he did. I demand recompense. If you find him, you bring him to me. He killed birds? Jeez. Ah, yes, I remember the long-haired boy. Very curious, with many questions about the nature of ether. He conversed with one of the other conjurers for a time. I know not what they discussed, but from his expression I gathered it was important. Our inspector returns. Tell us, have you learned aught of Mist's whereabouts? Seen conversing with a conjurer and possibly killing chocobos? Not sure what to make of that. Though we can be sure he stayed here for a time. But perhaps no longer. We learned but moments ago from Gillo here that a boy matching Mist's description was seen leaving the Reach. He's for the peaks, and so we are. Follow Sidirgu, okay. Sidurgu. Whatever his freaking name is. No visible injuries, no bleeding. Aye, it is as Riel says. These beasts died for no discernible reason, just like the chocobos that man in the Reach claims Mist somehow killed. But it doesn't add up. Other than his singular magic, Mist was utterly helpless, unless was he always capable of this? But we know the answer already. He stole your ether when we first met. Even if he could do it, even if he did do it, why? We'll ask him when we find him. At this time, you let me do the talking. Search the east. Riel and I will head south. We'll meet in between if we find not, and if we do, either you will come to our aid or we to yours. As you survey your surroundings, you observe not out of the ordinary, but on the edge of hearing you hear a whisper to the southwest. 7 health I had being right. On your guard, Mist has shown his true colors. The ether or whatever else he took from those beasts has given him tremendous strength. Contrary to his earlier warnings, conjuring another simulacrum wasn't the end of him, and of all the wonderful people he had to pluck from our memories, he chose Istrid de Kalino. He knows we're here, and this is his answer. He summoned the monster that haunts Riel in her dreams and sends her screaming from her bed. Forgive me, Sid, but you gave me no choice. Say your name, your real name. Shall I ask you the same? Who holds the reins? Though it matters not, we are complicit, you and I. Can you even remember why you came here? Can you even remember how many you killed? How many lives shattered? How many stories ended? Upon the surface of the crystal are carved the scenes of dark nights past, and yours are beyond counting, beyond fathoming, without end. Justice is an excuse, nobility is a lie, murder is murder. Yeah, whatever. And though we are most definitely not without fault, it is this cruel, indifferent world which has made murderers of us all. But we need suffer no longer. I sought to make these broken souls whole, one by one, when in truth the solution was much more simple. A world beyond pain and suffering and anguish and despair, a world beyond death, a world in which we never need bid farewell to our dearest friends. And how many beasts will you need to kill to make this world of yours? How much ether will you consume to see it through? Bloody self-righteous sophistry from a mewling whelp. So your brilliant plan is to fill the world with simulacra of the dead, is it? And somehow that's supposed to make everyone happy? Well, you're right about one thing, I'll grant you that. This world is brutal, uncaring, without logic or justice. No justice but that which we make for ourselves. And I'll be damned if I give it up so you can force your illusions upon us to assuage your guilt. Did you not find comfort in your reunion with your master? Even though you knew it was a lie, did it not help you to unburden your soul, to find a measure of peace in this madness? I am not your enemy, not then or now. I will not fight you. All I ask is that you leave me to my duty. It's never too late to turn back. You are still a good person. You can still be a good person. Nice. I like this sword. So this is your answer. Maybe you cannot accept what needs to be done, but I can. Goodbye. Was that it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. so many broken by this world, and then by you, so many. Woe betide the man who stands opposed to the weapon of light, for that will be his reward, that for him and his kin and all that he holds dear. Woe betide the man who stands with the weapon of light, for that will be his reward, that for him and his kin and all that he holds dear. Okay. Did I read that twice? Like sands through the hourglass. Everything we fight so desperately to protect slips through our fingers, and what remains is us, only us and the melody of our sin. To walk this path is to suffer, to sacrifice. Justice demands no less. Serve, save, slave, slay. I've sins aplenty, aye, but regrets not so much. Oh, this is Frey! And if he wouldn't listen to me, the embodiment of good sense and pragmatism, then what hope could you possibly have? A house divided cannot stand, you know. This childish rebellion ends now. What in the seven hells is this? A compromise, I suppose. Our dear friend here refused to let me take the reins, but I wasn't about to stand idly by while that imbecile tries to do whatever he was trying to do. No hard feelings about White Brim, eh? Promised not to stab you in the back. It'll be just like old times. A dark knight needs a sword. Take mine. No, this is wrong. This is all wrong. I offer you peace, restitution, a chance to make amends. Do not think you are above it. Do not think that the reckoning will be postponed indefinitely. When it comes, I shall welcome it with open arms. But today will not be the day, and you will not be the judge. Easy. Yeah. It's a completely different story when you have Skyrim gear. Forgive me. I ask, I beg, I pray, but it never comes. Again they go to join the multitude of the black oblivion of the abyss. Such is your lot, such is the fate of all who are born to suffer and to die. Do not seek forgiveness, for it will not ease the burden. It weighs as it should. But what of the lost? Do they not deserve to live again? They do, in our hearts and our souls, and our memories. No one likes having to say goodbye, but it's a part of life. That's what makes the time we share together so precious. You can't obsess over the mistakes of the past, or you lose sight of the future, of the people still with us, who need us more than ever. The greatest strength is born of the flame in the abyss. I will say nothing clever at the moment. Sorry. Listen to my voice, listen to your heartbeat, listen. I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. Thank you. That is all I have ever wanted. So this is it. One last parting, one final farewell, after a fashion. In your darkest hour, in the blackest night, think of me, and I will be with you, always. For where else could I go? Who else could I love but you? Speak with Sidurgu in Ishgard. You'll forgive us for returning to Ishgard ahead of you, I hope. I needed some time to think on everything that happened in Girabania. I won't pretend to know everything you've been through in your life. A man can never truly understand what's in another's heart, and probably not their own, for that matter. I'm pretty much rambling at this point, but I suppose that I'm trying to say is that I'm grateful for everything you've done for me and Riel. I like you, I respect you, and I'll always be here for you if you need me. And I will always love you. Come on, Sidurgo, sing it. We're fellow walkers of the path after all, and friends, I'd like to think. Ah, I've been wondering, mist appeared at the same time the soul crystal cracked, yes? But which happened first? And why then and there? Damned if I know. Does anyone truly understand how soul crystals work? What matters is that the crystal and unskilled have been made whole. That said, a heart bleeds, a man weeps, a soul burns, thence comes the darkness to consume, and few hearts have bled as much as this. Speaking of bleeding, I think your wounds have reopened. If you would sit, it would be much easier for me to tend to them. You should get some rest too, unskilled. Not all wounds are so obvious. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, praise alone. She's right though. No need to overdo it by running off to the next battle just yet. If you must put one foot in front of the other, though, why don't you go back to where this whole damn mess began? Maybe you'll have an epiphany. Return to where it all began. I don't bloody remember! Where it all began. It was so long ago. I had to level other shit, grind shit, suffer Emily every day. It's not easy. Aha, so this is where it all began. Okay, whatever. I'm done with it. What troubles you, Master Guy? Ah, but of course, it is bitterly cold this day. At times like this, one should be warming themselves by the fire. Not a day goes by without your name being spoken, I know. You know, the soldiers and merchants often bring us news of your latest exploits. That said, to hear it from the hero himself would be much preferable. But there could be no expectation were you to call on us. The pleasure of your company alone would be more than enough. Rare though I expect it will be in your days to come, but your destiny was never to remain here, was it? Though a part of me wishes that you would. Forgive me, I find myself growing more and more sentimental in my old age, and in working on my memoirs, I have had to reflect on the darker chapters of my life. Harsefan lived his to the fullest, and if his story is preserved for generations to come, then I should be glad of it. You will always have a place here, unskilled, for you are family. Now go. Do not let me keep you from your labors. The world awaits for none, not even you. This concludes the Dark Knight quest for Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. In order to undertake the next series of quests, you must first meet the following requirements. Final Fantasy Shadowbringers, yes, and you must have completed the main scenario quest Shadowbringers. You must have completed the role quest to have loved and lost. Once you have done so, the next Dark Knight quest will be available from Sidurgo. Okay, I'm done. Antiquated. I think the Skyvan is better. Yeah. Let's go turn them in. Oh, they don't register as... Oh, I can glamour them. Yes, that's a good idea. How many glamours do I have? 5. So I will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prisms. Right? Okay. Let's see. Cast glamour. Antiquated. Cut a block. Is it that? Let me just check. Antiquated. Yes. Okay. I guess it's alright. Cast glamour. Antiquated Ivalice Virginet. Cast. Okay. Antiquated Avis Quiras. Oh, much better. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we are ready. Wait for on the eastern side of Starfall. Let's go, Patches! Oh yeah, today I'm celebrating 3 months of streaming Final Fantasy. Greetings, Unskilled. To seem we are to accompany Arenvald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat the throne. A uniquely brutal despot by all accounts. That he was, the King of Ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks at the feast ended with Ralgar's reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sots he put to death became the property of the king, and it said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty? You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course, we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Calamigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend of the Mad King's Trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end here. What self-respecting adventurer would imagine the three of us delving into decades-old mystery? Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart racing. Yeah, I look like a Dark Souls character. Nice. Emote. Box. Oh, I'm so boxing Tala. Next time I see her. You have learned the emote box. The news of Domo and Alamigo's liberation has kindle the flames of revolution in every corner of the empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion, which means the Guardians must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arevald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fare, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere, so we'll probably need to ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you will be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arenwald, pray try your luck in the fridges, and the pigs will, whilst unskilled, make the rounds in Alamigan Quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gilbard's Gate. Dun, 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 dun. In the palace? No, not me, lad. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. Mature mate. Sounds like a character in a porn movie. You want to hear an old... a whole category. Mature mate. You want to hear an old man's mate stories, do you? Well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see His Royal Majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he'd ordered. And after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't even to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but there the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. I serve at the pleasure of King Theodoric and live to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when he didn't hear blood curdling, when we didn't hear blood curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which of course were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If you are hell's bent on finding out what happened to the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arnold. He was the king's head scribe. Yes, I am Arnold. What do you want with me? I would have me drench up some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet, if Alamigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days, the king's favored mind settled upon an event grislier method of disposal, even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our price either does not exist or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Unskilled? Were your investigations any more fruitful? No. I met an old man in Alagiri who spoke of the palace subterranean prison, but he said not of cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning him a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Unskilled? His fear seems genuine. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but here I share my theory. There is a matter I would clarify. Arenvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garland blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamigan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that the spot on my skin was an emergent third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garlands. My mother did not care of this taunting reminder of my heritage and took upon a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. Oh my god! You know how I got these scars? Says the Joker. In the end, she turned me out into the streets and I was left to haunt the alleywells of Alamigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I grew still an ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. Drew still. With Theodoric's gold I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arenvald, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Unskilled, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arenvald's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventures as your reward? Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of that Mad King's trove, if you are minded to hear it. Okay, we are looking for a treasure. I guess it's interesting enough. Be right back. 5 minutes. Okay. Actually, make up it would be better if we first adjourn to a more suitable location. In case rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but it's certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene at the south edge of Loch Selt. Forgive me, it was not my intention to draw our... Let me fix my camera. I don't like it that way. Okay, better. Simply wish to have the lock inside while I explain things. Prior to the great flood of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines, and this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war, yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Selt. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you are saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely, and since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed, which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Unskilled, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arenvald and I will seek out an encarceled portal within the palace. Guitar performance in your office? I wouldn't mind a cup of tea. Search the ruins on the loch floor. Oh yeah, definitely honey. You discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. You come to a worn stone door standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you have found an entrance into a subterranean ruins. Unskilled, it's Alfino. We have searched the prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation portal concealed by enchantments. The markings indicate it leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? And you believe it leads into the ruins? Then I dare say we will be able to meet within. Go on and head through the door. By the way, I took the liberty of calling on a friend for help. I guarantee she is both dependable and discreet. We'll see you soon. Drowned city of Scala. Okay, let's go. The drowned city of Scala. Well, since you like this dungeon, it's probably dangerous and lethal. Sounded like you gotta just like the abundant aesthetic. Well, there's always a first time for everything. Oh, please kidnap my wife and never get her back. Actually, today it was me who cooked. I asked her what are we going to eat, and she just told me, please take care of it. Spaghetti bolognese. Well, I offered her meatloaves and fries, but she told me no, just do spaghetti. Don't experiment in the kitchen. Oh, fuck you, you horse. Come here. Oh, come on! I don't like this dungeon. I don't like being a Spriggan. Ah, okay. That aura which you drop on the ground is very, very, very powerful. Rotting Royal. Oh, come on, I looked away! Okay. Oh my god, who's that? It was okay-ish. Better than the Dancer's Quest, definitely. But a little bit better. I mean, the Dancer's Quest was cheesy as fuck. And the Dark Knight's Quest was a little bit more serious. And I think that the Dark Knight is probably the strongest.
This place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
I think this is the best character I have played so far. The Gunbreaker is closely second. I think the Gunbreaker and the Dark Knight are the best characters I played so far. Gunbreaker is a little is monstrously defensive, and the Dark Knight is very offensive.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
This is the Mad King.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Arenvald and I tried to do our fair share, but I fear you ended up bearing the bulk of the burden as usual. You truly led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling about in the dark. I'm glad I called on you. I must say I'm still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What, like how you reeled at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? I wish you could have seen the look on your faces, Alfino. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that is all that matters. But also the dancer is very good DPS. All these characters are very easy to play. Especially the Gunbreaker. The Gunbreaker is completely brainless. All jesting aside, we must tell people the good news, and I think Liz should be the first. Second, that she is bound to be delighted. If I'm no longer needed, then I shall take my leave. Of course, don't let us keep you. Thanks again and say hello to Vma of me. Now then, there is to be a meeting of representatives from across Alamigo, so Liz is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? Yeah. Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, Liz, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have unskilled and Alfino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it go towards alleviating the suffering of Alamigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say. Arenvald did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it out on our own. I have taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending it as well. Thank you. Oh, there is one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alfino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alfino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths, tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters, and they've started making demands. You'd best come and see for yourself.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Oh, by all means, suggest it. Just tell me, Mitko, do this quest line now.
Bring her out! Bring her out!
Oh, for Dola.
What's going on? Someone let slip about Fedola.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it!
I totally forgot to unlock the crap in Kugane. I have stuff to unlock in Kugane as well. Shit.
We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Or I did them.
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down! Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye, and my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair. For it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast. It is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted. The ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
Thank God he didn't cut them out. Let's just see what we have in Kugane. Yeah. Yeah, this is for the new king on the block. I will skip this. Quest accepted. Monster Hunter, yeah. my god, I have an unattuned... Shit. Should I reveal all the map? Mitko, reveal that map right now, in this instant, before I shoot you in the kneecap. Yeah. You wish. Confront the Ratalus in the Great Hunt. Oh my god. Is it like a trial? The Great Hunt, this one? This duty sucks. Oh my god. But it's like sucks or sucks like a big pile of dunk. You hate it. Oh my god. Why should withdraw? Oh, come on. Oh, fuck. You still had Scala selected. Oh my god. It's your fault, Emily. Yes, it's your fault. You confuse me. Of course it's nice, we are professionals. Come here, you stupid horse. Dun 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 dun. My only gripe with the Dark Knight is that it has too many skills that have to be activated and probably included in the rotation. Oh my god, I died? Too big pool? Sorry, guys. I need money. Man, that aura definitely melts them away. Too bad it has such a long cooldown. I can only kill them with the aura. Ouch. Nice. Okay. 10 minutes break and then we're going to the Great Hunt. Be right back. I'm sorry. I had a problem with my stomach. Oh. Yes, I think I'll leave. Oh. Okay, the Great Hunt. Let's go. Oh! Very fast. wasn't that bad. Okay. Great Hunt Extreme. Okay, I will not queue for it. It doesn't say that I have to. Okay. That was the alliance rates, right? Dramatis Personae. Well, let's do it. Welcome, my lord. There is a young maiden here who would speak with you. Miss, the adventurer has arrived. Ah, here he is, the liberator of both Domo and Alamigo in the flesh. I am Lina Meorila, correspondent for the Raven. You may recognize me from my expose on the secret lives of the homunculi. But enough small talk. It's not for nothing that I've been standing here since yesterday morning on the off chance you'd pass by. No, I'm here because actually it's best you heard it from Alma. I am but an observer. Alma, come. I found him. Is this the adventurer of whom you spoke? Indeed it is. Please, I beg of you, find my father. You are his only hope. It's all right, Alma. We are attracting unwanted attention. Might I suggest a change of venue? We will await you before the Prima Vista. The theater barge has a berth at the airship landing. Is it up? Yeah. As I said before, I think it better we continue this conversation in the privacy of the young lady's barge. It's not that I don't trust anyone else, it's simply that I don't trust anyone here. Gate guard Minegumo has been instructed to look out for you. In future, speak with him when you wish to gain admission to the docks. Thank you for coming unskilled. You're probably wondering why I've summoned you to an airship and a Garlean at one at that. Allow me to explain on the shuttle. The Prima Vista serves as both stage and home to the majestic Imperial Theatre Company. You can keep that dirk in your drawers. No one here is a member of the Imperial Army, nor are there any spies within the troop. At least no known spies. Ask anyone and they will readily attest the majestic Imperial Theatre Company are the finest practitioners of the dramatic arts to be found anywhere on the three great continents and beyond. They have admirers throughout the empire and its territories, and even boast a sizable following in Gridania, hence my assignment to their story. It is a little known fact outside Garlemald at least, that the late emperor was a devoted patron of the arts who supported various theater tropes to the tune of much coin. Indeed, Solus was so enamored of the majestic players that he ordered the construction of this very airship, that the trope might perform in every corner of the empire. When his grandson took the throne, however, everything changed. Now all theater tropes, domestic and foreign, must submit their works for approval by the Central Imperial Board of Censors. If a play is deemed vulgar or inflammatory, it is banned and the troupe denied their writs of transit. The worst offenders, well, they are never heard from again. This policy has effectively left playwrights with one of two options: compromise their creative integrity to curry favor with his radiance, or put down their quills altogether. The principal of the Majestics, however, chose a third option to express his approval for the new emperor's policies ubiquitously in ostensibly unpolitical works. Pray forgive me for my earlier outburst. I am Alma Bas Lexentale, daughter of Principal Genomis Sen Lexentale. Mayhap you have heard of my father's latest play, The Zodiac Brave Story. On the surface it is an innocent retelling of a well-known Garlean fairy tale, hardly worthy of the censor's attention, but beneath it is something quite different. A fact that the censor failed to spot when they approved the manuscript for public performance. The play quickly became a huge success. The common folk loved its fantastical story, while the learned classes appreciate its true message. By the time the Imperial Board of Censors realized their mistake, it was too late. No longer in a position to prohibit the performance outright without admitting fault, they took aim at the company's purse strings instead. Before long, noble patrons began to withdraw their support, fearing to be associated with the trope. And by the end, even the learned felt compelled to feign ignorance. By bleeding the Majestic of their funding, the censors robbed them of their voice. And none of this was made it any clearer as to why you're here, right? Allow me, Lena. Oh, Sid again. I've known Genomi since we were students at the Magitech Academy. When I heard his daughter was in Kugane, looking to enlist the aid of an adventurer, I felt compelled to give her your name. Sorry for not announcing myself sooner, old friend. Genomis and I were from different worlds, but that only served to fuel our friendship. Many were the nights we would prattle on into the wee small hours, warm flagons of peated ale, numbing our minds to the other's naive ideologies. Yet no matter where our conversation began, it would invariably end with him telling me how he was going to change the Empire from the inside out. The troop was to be his path into the people's hearts. Even after the Empire forced him from his home, Genomis never gave up hope that his work might change the world. Art will ever strain against artificial bounds and borders, man-made walls and misguided wars. It is in such times of uncertainty that we must needs embrace our calling and take to the skies so others might do the same. What I am trying to say, rather poorly, I concede, is that not all Garleans are hewn from the same stone. Just as there are those who pledge their lives to the Empire and would never think to question the authority of its leaders, there are those like Alma's father and myself whose love for their country does not blind them to its flaws. Still, try selling that sack of sunflower to an Alamigan or a Doman who has watched his family consumed in the flames of a Magitech Reaper. How many Orsian adventurers do you think would leap at the opportunity to help an Imperial search for their missing father, and in Garlean territory no less? But you are different. You have seen enough to know that the line between good and evil is not defined by race, color, or creed. So what say you? I could never turn my back on a damsel in distress, of course. But there are certain conditions. Not you, you're too young. But the journalists may kiss me. Now that you understand the nature of the task, perhaps Alma could provide some insight as to where we might begin our search. She would definitely have to kiss me. Shortly before my father disappeared, he began work on his next play, a successor to the Zodiac Brave story. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Please follow me. Through adventure and hardship, young Delita, a boy of common blood, becomes a hero, culminating in the birth of the mythical kingdom of Ivalice. But that is where the story ends. There are no records of anything that follows. Was Principal Genomis simply going to invent something? My father believed that he had discovered evidence of a second hero, one whose efforts went largely unnoticed, but without whom Delita would never have risen to the throne. His was the next tale he wanted to tell, the true Zodiac Brave story. A second hero. According to my father's studies, this young man was one of Delta's closest friends and confidants. That is, until the untimely, oh my god, timely passing of Delita's sister forced the two to part ways. Yes, the unnamed hero continued to provide aid to his friend by thwarting the machinations of those who would scheme against Delita, thus paving the way for the pauper's rise to regent. You must forgive me, but I've never heard anyone make such claims. How exactly did your father come by this information? That is a long story. One which begins and ends with Genomis becoming lost in the very legend he sought to lay bare. Even as far back as our academy days, Ivalice has had Genomis firmly in its grasp. He flatly refused to believe the story was just a fairy tale. And so, when he was finally driven out of Garlemald, it was only natural that he should choose this of all places as his refuge, was it not, Alma? That is correct, Master Garland. It has long been my father's belief that the ruins of ancient Ivalice lie beyond Naxia, buried beneath the sands of the Dalmasca desert. Poor Dalmasca. The kingdom prospered in relative isolation for countless generations until the Empire came calling. When not touring, my father would organize expeditions into Dalmasca desert to search for proof of Ivalice's existence. Sometimes he would bring back strange artifacts, ancient tomes, and crystals unlike any others. My father called them Orosite and claimed they were vital to proving his theories. This one is such crystal. By the 12th, it's magnificent. Ivalician legend tells of crystals bequeathed by the gods unto those who would be kings. It is during his quest to gather Orosite that young Delita rises to prominence. I must have heard the tale 1,000 times from my nursemaid, but that is all it ever was, a tale. My father would often tell us how the Orosite spoke to him. At the time, we assumed he was speaking figuratively, that the stone's beauty roused his muse. But then he began to act strangely. How so? Following our arrival here in Higashi, my father spent most of his time cloistered in his chambers, poring over his past research, and though he was alone, we could oft hear him in conversation. It was not uncommon for my father to recite the lines as he wrote them, but it soon became clear that this was something else. It was as if he was talking to my mother who passed several winters gone. Might this not have been out of mere loneliness, or perhaps the strain of your flight from Garlemald? Possibly, but that would not explain the voices which answered him. Alma, who are these people? I told you I did not require any help finding father, especially from outsiders. So good of you to join us, Ramza. Allow me to introduce... Enough, Master Sid. We may be shunned by the Empire, but we are still Garleans, and we still have our pride, unlike some it seems. We require neither the aid nor the pity of foreign rabble. Foreign rabble! Have you forgotten where you are, brother? It is we who are the foreign rabble. Its land and its customs are all but unknown to us. We would be fools to conduct our search without a proven guide. Your sister is right, Ramza. As for my good friends here, your mistrust is ill-placed. I will personally vouch for his character. In all the time I have known him, he has never once let anything as significant as race or creed color his judgment. You are lucky to have him. But we would have you, Master Garland. Why do you refuse us? You know why. Until this affair with Omega is resolved, my hands are tied. It pains me to refuse you and your sister, but it pains me far more to leave Genomis to his fate. I am sorry. You need not apologize. I let my emotions get the better of me. After what happened in Rabbanastre, it may be time to admit we are out of our depth. My brother's last expedition met with tragedy in the ruins of the capital city. He barely escaped with his life. The Empire turned Rabanastre into a death trap. You were a fool to set foot there without a proper escort. I realize that now, Master Garland, but at the time I saw an opportunity to rescue our father and I took it. Whatever led you to believe your father was in Dalmasca's capital? My father's fascination with Ivalician legend began with a trip to the antediluvian city long before the war. Call it a premonition, but something tells me that is where he has returned. Now you must excuse me. I need some time to think. Then, Alma, I shall leave you and your brother in unskilled, capable hands. He has ever repaid my trust with interest. You would do well to grant him yours. Thank you, Master Garland. We will not forget this kindness. Master Garland seems to think highly of you, so I will withhold judgment until after Dalmasca. Dalmasca is nestled in a forgotten corner of the Empire's outmost territories. I do not foresee any trouble from the standing army, but would suggest committing to memory the locations of each of the barge's exit, just in case. As for the flight itself, the currents above Dalmasca are as wild as the land below. You may want to hold on. We'll complete our descent to Rabanastre in the shuttle. Ramza, I thought I made myself clear, Alma. The capital is simply too dangerous. Father would never forgive me if I were to lose you, trying to rescue him. Come, we are wasting time. According to my father, Rabanastre was already a thriving city some 1,000 years ago. But after performing several private excavations beneath the so-called Desert Sapphire, my father came to the conclusion that it was not the first settlement to stand here. Then your father believes that Rabanastre sits atop of royal city of Lessalia, capital of Ivalice. But if that's true, it could change history. We would be famous. Famous? Are you sure you don't mean rich? Pah! Your kind are all alike. Parasites grown fat on the sweat of suffering of others. Oh my god, this guy! Bold words for a boy of but 16 summers. And what, pray tell, have I done to deserve such spite? I only wish to learn the truth behind the disappearance of the Empire's foremost playwright. If that should lead to something bigger, well then, I would be the worst reporter in the realm if I did not pursue it. Yes, we can argue all about this now, or we can return to the Prima Vista and report to our army of adventurers that it is time to begin the expedition. I humbly suggest the latter. You see, it is as I said, brother. Let them come to us. Should we kill them now? No, the time is not right. When has that stopped us before? Fool, do you see that one? Slayer of gods, they call him. Warrior of light. Yeah, and I got a dragon in my pocket. Okay, I will queue for this and then I'm gonna cut the stream because I want to lie down and rest a little bit. My stomach still hurts. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it now, and I'm gonna go lie down because I feel that I will go to the bathroom again. Today is not a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily, for being with me. See you tomorrow. Take care, people. Good night.